Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honeys, which is peppery, which is, salsa-y, which is habanero, which is Chile and chili, like maybe food from Chile and also chili. You know what I'm saying? God bless. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello, so you guys, today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 4, Splash, starring Daryl Hannah and perhaps Tom Hanks. Chris, can you confirm or deny these guesses?
Those are the peeps. Those are the peeps.
I
And what
think
a
it's
movie.
Daryl Hannah for sure. Tom Hanks, I'm not too sure on. But my favorite scene of that movie, first of all, it's my favorite movie, when it came out. Secondly, when she like bit into that lobster, just like full wholeheartedly in the restaurant, it was great. It was great. And then the times when she had to like make salt water for her bath so that she could just like get her fins again.
She was so, like statuesque and just so. That's a classic fish out of water movie.
Oh.
Anyway, you're welcome. Okay, let's talk about this lovely, horrible season. I mean, like whatever season you want.
Horrible.
I mean, honey, it's a lot of unwatchable around, like it's just a lot of, but you know what? Also, it's talkable. It's unwatchable, but talkable. So I don't know how they made that happen, but that's a remarkable situation. A lot of ubbles. So here we are. We get to meet some new people as well, so we have some fresh blood, which is always nice, just
But
like fresh
first,
fish.
let's start with, yeah, you're right, fish out of the water, the salt water.
I know we're gonna start with Misha and Nicola, but like I'm just talking about the episode. Misha and Nicola, or Nicola or whatever, but go ahead,
Nico.
Wa.
So we have Nico and Misha, and she's told us that she's going to spend 2 weeks, which is a healthy amount of time, especially for somebody who doesn't know somebody. So she's only going to spend 2 weeks, as opposed to a crazy widow who's spending 3 weeks in Hungary away from her children. Anyways, Misha is spending 2 weeks in Israel with Nicola, and she definitely gives us a lot of Minnesota words like bags. She says like I've got my bags checked, and we're like, oh, the newscaster in you or the communications major in you could not change the word from bag to bag. Bags, do you get the bags? I love that Minnesota bag. Every time anyone here says bag, I'm like, oh, you mean bag? And they're like, yes. Great. So she's at the good old MSP, and your girl has been to MSP a lot of times. I mean, I can't say that I've been to MSP more than I've been to LAX, but I've certainly been to MSP more times in 1 year than I've ever been to LAX.
And just so you guys know, she's not talking about the manufactured suggested price. She's talking about the Minneapolis airport. Okay, so you just have to now. I know that Minneapolis St. Paul. No, I know that, and I want you to also know that.
Okay, yeah. MSP is Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport or whatever. So Chris is correct. Yes. So I've been there, I want to say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 times this year. So it's a lot. So anyways,
Humble brag.
yeah, I know. So anyway, so she does that, and Nico is in his hotel room in Tel Aviv because he didn't want to be around his annoying mother while hanging out with her, and he has put on cologne. Chris, what do you think this cologne smells like?
Oud. This is what I guess. Oud is my just initial guess. Now, what do I want it to smell like? Cool Waters. Yeah, but it smells like oud. So
Cool
like
Waters.
yeah,
A
blast
blast
from the
from the
past.
past.
But he again hasn't kissed a woman since like 16 years ago or something. Like he's constantly telling us how much he's a virgin, but he doesn't have to also tell us because the man has a backpack on, and the backpack also radiates virgin, also high school, but virgin man high school. I mean, there's just what it is. I'm gonna tell you right now.
What?
I want gentlemen out here, once you reach a certain age, what you do is you get a duffel bag. You get a duffel bag. That's sexy. That's hot. That's what, men in the army use, duffels. I don't know, but I'm not quite sure. I've never been in the army. I want to beyond my scope. But let me go back to what my scope is: taste and style and what's attractive. And I'm telling you, honey, it's not fucking Jan Sports. It really isn't.
It isn't Jan Sports, but it could be
No, it's
like
not,
one of.
Ma.
Okay, we have our
I'm just
differences of
kidding.
opinions, but it could not Jan
Patagonia.
Sport. Yeah, it could be Patagonia. It could be there's another brand that it's escaping
Are
me right
you
now.
hiking? Is this person hiking, or is this person staying in hostels? Which one is it, Wa?
This person is going out with their lady friend, and perhaps they're going to a place where they have souvenirs, and so he needs a backpack in which to hold all of the accoutrement. Like, I'm okay with a backpack. But he says that he's not nervous. He is excited for Misha. And like, of course he would be excited. You know what's so funny about it is I feel like Nicola is one of these men who truly feels like, even though everyone around him thinks that Misha is out of his league, which she is absolutely, with like looks and professional life, the truth is that Nicola truly and 100% feels that this is what he deserves, and it has been given to him by God. So there's no sense of like, oh my God, she's hotter than me. Oh my God, what if she goes somewhere? He's like fully like, no, you're mine. So they meet each other. They're very freaking excited. And he rubs her like in small, fast, like, okay, Misha, I love you, Misha, I love you. And it's a lot of, oh my God, a lot of, I love you, Misha, oh my God, Nico. And then she's like, what do you think of me? Like, do I look like what I said I look like? And he's like, yes, and even better. What about me? And she's like, yes, even better. So, the truth is I like it. I like it.
He wanted to give her, he hasn't kissed a woman, blah, 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 but in like billions of years. And he wanted to give her a small but passionate kiss full of emotion. And I would say that, when they had their greeting, it was obvious there was a lot of emotion there. And it wasn't just like sexual, disgusting, like sex tourism, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was even like they've known each other for a minute. That was obvious. So basically they get to the hotel and then they have this like conversation with the check-in people that's like, oh, we're not married, so we're not okay. This is where I lost it because I didn't quite understand. Why aren't they just staying in separate bedrooms? Why are they staying in separate beds like I Love Lucy and like Desi and Des, like
Season
as
one.
opposed to different rooms the whole time? If you're not going to be sleeping in the same bed, that makes no sense to me. Also, what ends up happening, which is that it's a very small room for someone who travels luxuriously and puts a lot of like, emphasis on, clothes and looks and face and skin and hair and everything. Like, I mean, she's in a small room, honey, and she, okay, so basically he moves her in. He's staying there too. It's kind of weird. They have, as I said, like I Love Lucy beds. He's like, I'm gonna go like, be back in a second and get some food. And by the way, the food looks amazing. It's like really creamy hummus and like what looks like dates. She's like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower. 40 minutes later, he comes up with the food and some guy brings it, and she has unpacked everything, and everything is on everything. It's everything is everything. It's Lauryn Hill, but like everything is on everything, which is like, the entire desk covered. And I didn't understand at first, like, is she not going to put, there's no closet, there's nowhere to put things. Also, was she just unpacking and she was going to put things away, but ends up, no, he comes in, has like, oh, this can't be what's happening. And she's like, yep, this is what's happening. And you're going to have to just deal with it because, and at that point I was like, you should absolutely have your own room. You should have known if this is what your life is like. And I'll be honest, it's because she's a seasoned woman and I'm not far off from me. Not that I, in the way of, I get wanting to pack a lot. So once I got to the room and saw that, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I totally need my own room. Just because like I need to, put things on display. I can't just have, I know that another human adult could not live in that room with just not nary a space anywhere. It's too much anxiety, it's too much. It's also embarrassing, but the fact that she does it either makes me feel like it's, the producers are making this happen or he's not really staying there. Well,
okay, yes. Before that happens, we get a scene where he looks at all her bags and they're heavy, and she has paid an extra 100 or 2 to have her bags taken because of the weight limit. And I was like, I know somebody who's similar to that, as well as
I said that we're alike.
Yes. Chris did say that we were alike. She and Misha traveled the exact fucking same. And then he's like, "You brought all of America." Ha 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 ha. Then they like have a prayer that before they get to the hotel, that his car will be able to transport her items. And right now they're just leaning heavily, heavily on faith that everything is happening. So they're in a good place. Unlike Amanda and Rosvin, who are like not leaning in a good place, where like I think Misha is just like, whatever the trials and tribulations that may come, God has brought us here. So this is okay and we can get through it. And I kind of like that, like optimism that they have just because they share a religion and they think that they were meant to be. Yeah, she does take everything out and he is flabbergasted and they do sleep in two twin beds in one room. My thought is maybe he paid for the rooms because she paid for the travel to get there. And so she's trying to let a man be a man by him paying for like this little ass room that isn't enough for her. And so she's like, well, if all you can afford is this, then I'm going to be me and accept this situation, but also put all my stuff everywhere so that I can see everything so I know what outfits I'm going to wear. And listen, if you're staying somewhere for 2 weeks, the truth is you need maybe 2 outfits a day. You need an outfit for during the day and you need an outfit for dinner, as well as what if you guys do some kind of hiking? So I'm not necessarily mad at the amount of accoutrement she has purchased or brought with her, but I think I do see what you're saying, Chris. Like she could have been like, hey, I'll get my own room. But also it's better, and I think it's better TV and it's more interesting for Nico to understand her quality, like her necessities in life in order to be the person that she is, that he get that and he get that soon. I don't know.
Whoa, what a transition to our next couple, because that is exactly what Jasmine wants Gino. She wants to lay it out. What is to be expected when she comes to America? And as much as I've said that she's unwatchable this season, this has been the best segment so far.
Yeah. But before we jump into it, let's take a commercial break.
I don't know why I paused.
Hey, Patreon, thank you guys for being so lovely. We love you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the content, and I think you're getting it, especially Frisky Kitty. Thank you, Frisky Kitty, for like always, throwing in a comment.
The D people do too. Oh, will you also okay, you talk for a second. I'm gonna get my cutter.
Okay. Dating doula is great. Who else? Let's look it up while she's doing that. Because I get the emails like when I'm just like minding my business, and I was like, oh, email from such and such. But for those of you who also we love it. I love it personally. Wahamelino me, I love it. Okay, any emails? First of all, I went to Whole Foods today, and I went to Whole Foods because in Minnesota, the liquor stores and the grocery stores are separate. So I went into the liquor part, got my items, and then I went into the grocery part, and they fucking told me that my card was declined. I was like, my card is not declined. Jamie, thank you, Jamie. Fontenot. She said, wow, I was really worried there. Glad you posted this. Side note, where are the cute dresses from? Target, girl. Target. Who else has left a message recently? Again, more Jamie.
I forgot I was wearing underwear.
Oh, Marcia, and you forgot you were wearing underwear.
Only underwear. Did you see anything?
Oh, I didn't look. So the truth is who knows?
I think we did, but it's okay.
Marcia Endeavor also commented, man, that was a dramatic situation. I'm glad it turned out okay. Marcia Endeavor. I love Marcia. We love Marcia.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the new people who are here too. I hope you're enjoying the content. Okay, anyways, let's And
sorry about my butt,
Your
but
butt
also
butt.
You're welcome.
Your butt. Great. Okay, ready to come back?
Yeah.
All right, and so we're back, and let's jump into Gino and Jasmine. So they wake up the next morning, and Gino apparently is in a better mood, and Jasmine is happy because she's like, baby, I'm so excited that you were ready in the morning, with the blue pill. And he's like, because he doesn't want to talk about his sex. Like he doesn't want to talk about his sexual prowess or his non-sexual prowess at all. And she just keeps talking about it. And he keeps trying to shut down that conversation. And she keeps talking about it because she's like, we're on fucking TV, Gino. I'm going to talk about your limp dick and the blue pill that is required in order to get you hard. And so she says that she woke up and his dick was poking her. So she was very excited about that. And she says that since they've been together for, I don't know, 2.5, I don't know, 3 years, I don't know how long they've been together, but they've only had sex 7 times because he gets tired when he's on top. And I'm going to tell you right now, me and Gino could not be together because I get tired when I'm on top. In fact, I am like, you get a good 5 to 10 minutes from me. Maybe not even 10. I can't even say that it's 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I just honestly, I feel like men have the easier thrust on top. Like women, we have to like bounce up and down like in a perpendicular manner to their penis, and they just need to like go in. I think that if I were to like do that motion, I think I might be able to last longer. Also, men are stronger. At least the men I have sex with, they're stronger than me. So like, God bless them.
So while saying she's up for pegging, but anyway, so let's get to Juno and Jasmine. That's what she said. Now you heard it and I heard it, but I mean, they're feeling good. He's feeling, more on top of things. And here's the thing, he wants to give her that one strand of hair that he bought to be like, and the way he sets it up is like, so Jasmine, remember how you told me to buy hair? Remember how you told me that you wanted to do a recognizance mission in America to see what hair in America is like before I buy anything. So you wanted me to just buy you samples of things. And so here is one strand of whatever weave hair from America that I already had texted you, and we have record of where I said it was $300 and something, and she said buy 7 or whatever. Here's that one. And she's like, what am I going to do with that, Gino? Like, I can't do anything with that. You know how many I use? I use 10. And he's like, well, like that's really expensive. She's like, my hair right now is $3,400. And he's like, whoa, I thought it'd be cheaper. And then she pretty much goes, $3,400. And then she pretty much goes, if you want a hot wife, that's what I am. I'm not paying for this because I've given up my life there. If you want a hot wife in America, you better start to get on board of how much realistically it costs. And I agree with her.
I mean, you're right. She does seem ungrateful when he first brings out this like travel pack for her. And she's like, oh, it's the same gift you got me before. And she's obviously very like not impressed about it. And like, borderline ungrateful, which is a hateful word. I hate saying that. People tell me I'm ungrateful, and maybe I have to admit that I'm ungrateful. But she was not into it. He's like, you've used it 1,000,000 times, so you obviously love it and need it in your life. And she's like, well, then what else? And he brings out the one pack of hair, and she's like, okay, well, this hair cost me this much amount of money. And so, I just want to let you know that this is what me being your wife in Michigan is going to be like. And then he starts to tell her about his inheritance, or his not inheritance, his retirement. And I think to myself, why the fuck did you tell her? Why have you explained explicitly about your finances with her if you didn't want her to then make assumptions about expectations with you? She simply thinks you're cheap. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand that you don't have the liquid cash to do the things that she requires. And she's right. The truth is that he cannot afford a wife like her. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so he needs to just back out of that situation if he does not want to pay for her to have extensions, to get her nails done, to do all of the things that she does to keep up, to get more contacts, for her eyes. So yeah,
all the surgeries, all the fillers, lips, like it's such an interesting proposition that a man is like, I want all of that. That's exactly what I want. That makes me feel so good to be with a woman who looks like that. And then not have the honest or understanding that, great, so that's money that you're going to spend for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was just like, oh, a couple $100 to get her nails done. And what it is he is so vastly daft that I'm happy that she had to literally spell it out, and like the hair is basic for her. In her mind, she's like, that's not even presents. It's not even clothes. That's not even like designer purses. This is basic hair, skin, nails. I mean, eyebrows, whatever you like, false eyelashes for some of those girls, that's the basic shit, like, so I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of love it. It did make me happy,
Well,
like
I'm glad it made you happy because you were hating this. You thought she was like this crazy person on
they blow
cocaine
up.
who's like doing the
I
most.
know.
So then they go out to eat, and she gets there, and she's like, he's worried that she wants to live in luxury, and which is like crazy. It's not a
Exactly
worry.
it.
It's a
Why
fact,
don't, yeah, why
right?
don't
It's
you?
a fact. It's not a worry. And she says, "Baby, Gino, I tried to give you a feet massage last night, but you were very uncomfortable." And he's like, "Well, I was tired. But if you want to be able to give me a massage, yeah." And she's like, "Yes, with the happy ending." And he's like, "No, not like that. I need a regular massage." And she's like, "Why not happy ending? We are on TV. Say yes to happy ending. And plus, I want to have more sex."
God.
And she's like, "Oh no, it's regular. That's all I was asking for." And she's like, "Whatever." And she said, "Maybe, baby, maybe I don't know how to express myself. It thank you so much for going out of your way to do the hair extensions." Um, and then he's like, I want to talk to you about something. You know that I've been working hard since I graduated college in 1993, and I've been working hard every day going to work.
Where is this going?
Yes, yes.
I know you've been working, Gino. Just
Yes.
like, go ahead.
She's like, "I got that part." And so, and she's like, "Well, I just want to talk about my investments. Are you going to lose your money?"
Yeah.
"Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I talk. I want to talk to you about, you know, signing a prenup. First of all,
No,
we're both
Gino, no! She doesn't even like. She won't. I'm like. She's like. He says, I have a proposition. She's like, is this the one where she loses her goddamn mind?
not yet, not yet."
Okay,
She's
sorry.
like, this is the one where she stares at him, waiting for him to fucking get to the point.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "We're both very in love. But what I'm saying is, what I was saying, I forgot what I was saying." And then she goes, "It hurts me to think that I'm marrying you for a divorce." And
Oh
then,
yeah.
yeah. She goes, "From the bottom, Gino, from the bottom of my heart, like, fuck you. 100%. I'm going to give this back to you." And she gives him back the ring. And then he's like, "Jasmine always said that she would rather have me dead than not with me." And he, for some reason, thinks that is some kind of like path to glory. And so she's like, "Well, now I don't understand because she doesn't want to do a prenup. So now I think I don't think that she actually meant that." And then he goes, they go to leave, and he's like, "Let me open the door for you." She's like, "I can open my own door.
Yeah.
I don't need you to open my door." Girl.
Yes. So then, okay. So then, basically, he then later has this thing where he brings her. He's like, I have a proposition for you, like later on, and then we never hear what the proposition is. Yes, we do. Sorry. Then she attacks him. Okay, and she's like, says everything. She says that she's had lovers, honey, that are so young and so rich and so good at sex, and he's the dumbest and the stupidest. And then he says that she's in fact bad at the sex. And I wow, remember that part?
Yes. So she has slept in the other bed. She slept in her sister's bed. So we all wondering, where's your sister? And then the next morning he wakes up on a half piece of paper, writes a proposition down for her. And then she then comes in. He's like, "Jasmine, I'm gonna talk to you." So she comes in and she's like, "Gino, you better make this shit good." And then he's like, "I have a proposition. Here's my proposition: is that if you and I get divorced, and I was the one who initiated divorce, you get the most money ever. And if you initiate," and then she reads it, she snatches it from him, and then she's like, "So basically, this means that if you cheat on me and I want a divorce, then I don't get anything." He's like, "No, except for cheating." So then she rips it up, and he's like, "Don't rip it up." And she
I
throws
took a
it at
picture of it anyway,
Yeah.
so it doesn't make a difference if you ring it up. Hey, I took a picture. You just print out the JPEG.
I mean,
and then she's like balls, crying. And then the part comes where what you just said, which I forgot. But what did you just say happened? That part happens after that part.
Okay, well, let's move on. We don't have to like keep, we don't have to like have every single sec. Okay, so do you have anything more about them?
No.
Okay, so Christian and Cleo, new Coops Badoops.
I don't have a picture of them, so here we go. You go. I talked a lot. Tired.
Well, okay, so but what a home run you've had this season of being able to talk about Minneapolis, though. I'm gonna tell you. I don't have to tell you about that.
Right. Two people from Minneapolis, and they don't live that far from each other at all. So I'm like, if there is a Misha Christian meetup in downtown, that would only make sense.
You should set that up. Well, why don't you?
Halfway between them.
You could have it at that like hot karaoke place or 90s karaoke.
I should go follow them both. You talk, I'll follow them.
So he's a starry-eyed Christian, and he has the kind of demeanor that falls in love fast, and he has been married and has thusly also been divorced, and got it annulled, so harkening back to what happens to happen, what Misha also. So I guess Wa's meetup can be like, hopefully, or like, potentially and potential already annulled people from Minneapolis that are Christian, and then Wa can really hold that down.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Like,
right.
Only people who are married Catholic get annulled, right?
Now that's what I thought. So
okay.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
Okay.
But I'm Catholic. So I don't know if either, and I don't want to say if other people do that too. And I'm just like, oh, great. You guys do? Cool.
Oh, because I thought that was only folks who are Catholic. As a Christian, as a non-Catholic Christian, I thought that was what it was. So when he said that, I was like, wow, what are the odds? I didn't know there were so many Catholics in Minnesota. I mean, not that I know about it.
Yeah, no, it's happening everywhere. Well, it's really underneath your nose, all the kids, so you're really you're missing out. So yeah, he loves being in a relationship, and he met Cleo on the social media, which is how most people meet anyone on the show ever, but that's also what happened. And she is a model from Italy, and she's on TikTok, so this is also a little bit of that other Razvan, like it's an American person having seen someone on TikTok and just been delighted and charmed by this person's personality, looks, demeanor, and therefore they get into a relationship, and thusly this show. So like this is the second TikTok person that we know of, because think about it. We hear a lot about Instagram or Facebook messages. There's not a lot of TikTok romances yet.
Yeah.
But now we've gotten so far into that app that it's showing up on 90 Day Fiancé. So it must be happening everywhere, People must be meeting on TikTok all the time.
Yeah. Wow. His name on Instagram, Christians, is Christian the Jew. That is his name on Instagram. So we are going to do a deep dive. So
yeah, okay. We know not. I mean, I know not. But Cleo, honey, Cleo is walking in Italy, honey, and they sort of do their Matt Sharp thing, which is like, oh, if this person experiences life differently, we're gonna try and recreate it as much as we can, or show how that is. And this person is, Cleo is autistic, and honestly, I feel this part also seems to get sensory overload and overwhelmed with noises, which I get, and she's walking in the middle of like loud situations. So but she also has to wear I'm sorry, what?
The cutie tootie gets it too.
Oh yeah, she also has to wear a sunflower sort of a lanyard style thing, so that if anything happens, people can just be like, oh, this person unfortunately deals with this a lot. So but however, Cleo is living her life and likes to have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of pictures that Cleo shows, and one is a green Sailor Moon costume, and I think who is that, Ma?
I always think it's Sailor Mercury, but it might be Sailor Jupiter.
Well, you should be ashamed.
Hold on. The greens. Okay, let's look it up. Sailor.
So, she meets her friend Osama, who also is in college with her.
Osama.
I know. And they like beautiful eyes, Osama. And they sit at a coffee shop, and she starts to like interact with the production crew, and it's sort of like you guys are really close, but also maybe it would make me feel better to have some sort of understanding and the control of the situation. So what are your astrological signs? And they go down, they're like Libra, blah blah blah. Actually, Libra's the one she's like, it doesn't like Libra, and that's what Law is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so
It's
funny.
First of all, I found the sailor, and it's Sailor Jupiter, who's green. And yeah, she needs to, like, she's talking to Osama, and then all of a sudden she's like, I'm sorry, I can't be in this situation because I need to be able to predict it. So what are your astrological signs? I didn't know she said that about Libra. I'm sad about it.
Yeah, no, she was like, she was like, someone was like, oh, this. And then one girl was like, Leo. And Leo, she had like, oh, okay. And then one person was like, Libra. And she was like, I'm trying not to make a face. And I was like, oh, honey, because I'm Libra.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's like, cameraman is Libra. Knowing people's signs just hell. I was cameraman. That's all I got. It's cameraman is Libra. Made me sad. But yeah, I really love the conversation that she had with Oshama, which is a far better Oshama than the one that we're used to. And then she's like, when I first met Christian, I thought, here's my next mistake. And she starts to laugh, which is so cute. So then we jump to the next scene where she's having, do you want to say anything about her and Oshama?
No.
Okay, then we jump to the next scene, and she is talking to her friend in a thrift store, and she says she loves a good thrift. And she's just basically wondering if Christian's going to actually be able to date somebody trans because of the pressures that comes along with it, the questions and the drama that can ensue. And then she says that she doesn't, he's never dated somebody trans. And then we immediately cut to him talking to his friends at a game of Texas Hold'em, where he is getting asked all these questions, and the one friend says a thing that I was like, two of them. The one friend sitting across from him, the one not with the bun, was like, well, it's going to be weird that there's boobies up top and a dick down below. And I was like, ugh, why? After Christian says, I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to talk about her genitalia. And then he's like, I don't ask my friends and my cousins, like, hey, how's your girlfriend's labia or clitoris? And then he's like, ugh, clitoris is, I don't like that word. And I was like, clitoris upsets you? I immediately didn't trust him from then on out.
I think that Christian handled all those questions so elegantly. And and the way that, in his confessional also, I really enjoyed that. I wondered why, his friends, like, thought to ask him like his sexual preferences as if they've never known, like the way, and he answered honestly. It's like, oh, no one, it never come up that did he say he's made out with a guy?
Yeah, he made out with a guy, and then he's,
by the way, we know
college.
that he made out with a guy.
Yeah, we could tell.
No, I was gonna say that's not where it ended.
I mean, I don't know, but like the fact is that he's like, I'm hetero AF, and then the friend's like, well, it's really important because sex is important, and I'm like, they can still have sex. Like, I guess I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. I think about myself and like whether or not I could be with a trans man, and I could be. I've seen a lot of trans men that are like fine as fuck and like buff as fuck, and I'm attracted to masculinity, and like if it wasn't a like penis made out of a vulva and it was a strap-on, at this place in my brain, I think I would be fine, but I won't know until an actual strap-on comes at me. So I just feel like they're really small-minded, and like they were on TV, and I just don't think that they understood that a little bit, or they maybe didn't know that they shouldn't have gone as. It's one thing if you know your friend and you know that he's a fickle fish and he can get himself into something and then turn around and run away when it gets scary. But it's another thing to be like, well, she's got tits on top, and like, it's just another thing to do that. And I thought that was like ignorant of them.
Oh, absolutely. And incongruent with how lovely Christian is. I was like, are these your friends?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like that. Like, wait, I don't get it. Are you guys close? Are these your cousins? Like, are these just your, what is happening here? But, we're kind of jumping back and forth between both as we like, get this. And so, Chloe comes out to us, with her friend, and then also having expressed, some insecurity about, not so much like the way that she looks or passes, because she's been transitioning for over 8 years, although we all have like small things. I think she mentioned, by the way, Chloe at one point mentions forehead surgery, and I was like, forehead surgery, what's forehead surgery? And it's exactly the thing that I need turns out, which is they can lower your hairline
Yeah.
and stop your forehead. Stop your
Yeah.
forehead, and then in its tracks, which I mean, I mean, I just-
Yeah, no, when I was following Gigi Gorgeous on YouTube, I went through her forehead surgery. So like, yeah, that's the thing that happens with it.
Do you think that
bring
would
down
look
the
better?
hairline.
Yeah.
No, I think you look great the way you are now. I don't need. You'd have to put on a wig for me to see what that would look like. Because your hand is not doing the justice for me.
And
But
my
you know
hair
what's
is- my
interesting
hand-
is that I have been okay. Let me just tell you an experience that I had last night. I am entertaining a very handsome, like fit fucking gentleman. Okay, he's fucking fit as fuck, and he's like got quads that are like killer and like abs that are like amazing. Okay, and he came over last night. And take your camera off. He came over last night, and he, you know, we had relations. And then afterwards, like I mentioned that he was handsome because he's handsome. And he's like, you know what? No one has ever told me that I was handsome until I grew this beard out. And I was like, okay, send me pictures of you without a beard. And then I was like, people tell me I'm beautiful. And I just kind of like roll with it. And he's like, well, no, I'm not saying that I'm not rolling with the fact that I'm handsome. But, and I was like, yeah, people tell me I'm beautiful. And then he said to me, well, maybe it's because you're so dark. Like people are like looking at you and they're like, I want a piece of that chocolate. And I was like, it's that thing that happened to me where I'm like, oh, I'm so dark. Like, where I was like, I'm not. But even though like I'm fine being it, but it's also awkward for me when people are like, anyway. So he said that, and I was like, well, maybe they're staring at me because I'm beautiful. Like, what are we talking about? So he went down that route that I didn't want to go down. And then he said something else, or I was like, driving here from California, I went through some sundown towns and I was worried. And he was like, well, what's a sundown town? And I was like, those are towns where as a Black person I shouldn't be caught after dark. And he's like, he looked at me as though that couldn't be a possibility. And he's like, well, I'm pretty sure there's parts of Minneapolis that are sundown town parts where I couldn't be caught as a white person. And I'm at this point now, and I've been thinking about it all day. And he said one other thing that I'm not going to say because it's fucking stupid. And I'm like, do I have to stop talking to this person, Chris?
Yeah, obviously. Yes.
Okay.
So that's where you are. I mean, yeah, it's not unreasonable to have a trope of like someone who is buff and not bright. That's like something that happens. So you're welcome to experience yours in your life. But that's what it is. Sorry. I love you. Okay, let's get back to, this podcast.
Well, I mean, it relates to Christian and Christian's friends. Like how you think that somebody could be in such a liberal place and still say fucking weird ass things that you're like, what? So, anyways, there's that. Okay, you want to move on to Sheila and wait, I don't know if I put this note or Chris put this note, but there's a friend, the friend that he has, the female friend has an unfortunate like chin neck pimple situation. So there's that.
You did that. Yeah. No, I know. Cause she was really looking there the whole time. So it was on display. She has pale skin and she was not happy about anything. And so anytime anyone is negative or being weird, it's so interesting. Your head, it's kind of like your eyes like, well, who are you two? Oh,
yes,
you're that person. So it just happens, I think, in a split second.
It's just, I wrote the note and I didn't have to say it, but it was an unfortunate situation that was happening on her face. Chin neck. Okay, now let's move on to David and Sheila. David and Sheila. This is a terrible picture of Sheila, but Sheila is the Filipina Eartha Kitt. I mean, she really is. She really looks like Eartha Kitt to me. She's Eartha Kitt's Filipina daughter.
Yeah, also they were such a lovely couple.
Oh my God, you guys. Chris, I mean, they are lovely.
Yeah. So, he's been on the plane, he's been traveling. It's a hard thing for him. That's how we set up last time. Law wrote the baby is wailing, David can't hear a thing, like he set this up as like, yeah, and I get this, like, yes, traveling is difficult for someone who can't hear, but in a lot of ways, once you get on that plane, honey, it's kind of great. I'm just kidding. I love you guys so much. And I actually love David. I already said that I love David. So Sheila's son, I'm gonna say the name looks like Goneril, but I forgot how to say that person.
I don't know how to say the name. It starts with a J, and I don't know. It might autocorrect, but he's going to go stay with her parents because she wants some privacy and intimacy time with David. So she's in the taxi talking about how nervous she is, and he is on his side saying that if it doesn't work out with her, it's going to destroy him. And they see each other, and she runs to him in her heels, like the way she runs with her head down. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute.
I know, like she can sign pretty well, for someone who it's not perfect, and then they kind of have a back and forth, but like we didn't know how they were going to communicate in real life, like in the sense of not having trains or whatever, and it seemed to like work out pretty well, which is great immediately. And so they had a lovely, and they just like, she was crying and he could feel her, like, how happy she was and how excited. So like he kept hugging her, and like they talked a little bit about what they were going to do and going to the hotel and what they thought about each other. And he looked so full.
Yes, he did. And, they were like, who looks better? And they both pointed to each other. And the producer was like, are you guys going to get in bed immediately? And he's like, stop it. Like, it's just like I just felt, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just felt like he was taking care of his woman, and I loved it.
Oh, about saying stop it?
Yeah, because I feel like some guys will be like, and he was like, no, stop it. Like, let us have our intimate time. And then he has 2 luggages and she has hers, and they just go like walking off together, and it's just cute. And I just really hope that they make it, or it isn't devastating. Like maybe if they don't make it, it's because of like obvious things, but
I know it. I want it too.
Yeah,
but from one wanting it for them to not wanting that for them at all.
Oh, Riley and Violet. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, Riley and Violet, which is like the other Asia couple, and they have this stupid bet that whoever touches each other first loses and owns the other. And so, they're both really excited to see each other, but they have this like barrier, this stupid childish barrier that they've built up between each other. And it's kind of annoying.
I read it as it was Violet's way of saying that she didn't like them in real life. She had set up a manipulative way to get him to not touch her.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Not crazy. I mean, just another perspective.
Like think about it like, oh, like, why don't we do this thing where like we actually don't kiss and touch or hug when we first see each other, because it's like, well, whoever does is like the loser or whatever, because it's like I would understand if it was to have anxiety the first moment that you are in the physical space of someone where that person might be expecting affectionate intimacy, you know what I'm saying, and depending on how you feel about it. What if you just don't know how the energy or vibe will be? I don't know. I can see that. So in order to get rid of the big, like maybe just like thinking that might be weird, or you might have a weird moment, or you might be off-putting, and how does that going to read? I don't know. I think it's kind of brilliant.
I guess I can see that, but I think I have a hard time reconciling those who are in these foreign countries who allow these Americans to travel to them when they don't have any intention of seeing them, or any intention of they don't believe that the relationship is the same inside the chat as outside. We talked about this before. Like I'm like with Ben and Mahogany, like to me, if we're talking I love you and saying all these things on chat, it translates to real life. So when people have that dissonance, or that they have that like dissonance, I guess is the word, but I don't get it. So anyways, definitely she gets there. She has flowers for him and she's really excited. And she's like, maybe Riley really loves me, that he's come here. And he's nervous. And he gets off the plane and he sees her and he's so excited to see her. He says she has a nice ass and I doubt it. And like,
she's like, everything is nice.
Yeah.
Wait till you see my. Oh, it's the bad. Like I was just like, what the hell? I think that she has she's on that moped, honey. I can see a little like pert sitch,
A pert sitch. I mean, I never know. I'm always like, I need to see it in order to confirm whether or not someone has a big butt. And I didn't see it, so I don't know if it's nice.
They call her the butt checker. Hurry up, she's the, like you just like, check that butt.
So, yeah, I do gotta check that butt. So then he's like, I'm gonna follow you. Let's go. And so she takes him off and they get to the hotel. And this is the point where I think you're right, where she's like, saving space for not being attracted to him. She tells him before he gets there that culturally it's not okay for her to have relations before marriage. And whether or not that's true, I'm like, you're already divorced. So you're a free woman. I feel like this might apply to the young women who've never been married. I feel like as a woman who has had children, you should be able to like, live your best life, but maybe you're not able to. And so he gets 2 room cards for her. And she's like, okay, but she doesn't know she's going to be there. So she tells him to go relax because she needs to change. So she goes wherever she needs to go and she changes and then he changes. And the first thing she says to him is like, in my culture, women don't wait for men. So if the next time we're due to meet, I need you to be here first. And he's like, all right, Violet. She's telling me everything that she needs. And so far, he seems amiable.
Can I take it over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then he's, sitting at dinner and he's like, look, we've been seeing that he put in many different Michael Kors bags in that, suitcase, honey, and different like colors and stuff. But he's like, I missed your birthday. And so I brought something. And then he's like, here is a box with pearls inside. And she's like, fucking pearls. Pearls. You know where pearls come from? South Asia, bitch. I swim in pearls. I have pearls that come out of my ass. My beautiful, good ass that Wah wants to check. That ass is full of pearls. You understand? Pearls be everywhere. I don't like pearls. Who do you think I am, Jackie O? Anyway, so I love, like all of that really makes me LOL. Because it's like another scene of someone getting a present and not being excited about it.
She like pats his face. She's like, oh, thank you. And he kind of notices that it's not good enough. But also the thing that really struck me is that the pearl bracelet was fucking elastic. Like that is the thing that set it off for me. The pearl bracelet at least needs to have a clasp. Now, do I want pearls? No. Will I accept them? Yes, especially if they're nice and they're real and they're like,
oh, definitely real.
Outside, sometimes pearls are like not real. Like, sometimes they're like, whatever.
Oh, I know, like fake pearls. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how to check, right?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Tell us.
You have to rub it on your tooth. And if it feels grainy, it's a pearl. And if it's smooth as F, like honey, Misha's forehead, then it's fake. Like that's plastic, like that's like a Mardi Gras pearl.
And I want it to have a clasp and I want the matching necklace and I want the matching earrings. So if you're going to give me, if you're going to give me those, I need it to be real. I need it to all be like not encased in gold, but I need the like metal in between to be gold. Hardware. And I need the 3 pieces. Yeah, the hardware. I need the 3 pieces. So like the fact that it was an elastic, get out of here. You thought you were doing something and you weren't. So she was not impressed. And then she tells him that she can't hang out with him the next day because she has work or something to do at least. And my thought is he gets upset and he's like, I thought I would have been a priority. And this is where I'm like, okay, American.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't know if she's able to take time off.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not America. You don't know if she's able to do so. And also maybe she didn't because she didn't know you would be here. She didn't know you would actually show up.
Great point.
And so she didn't like disrupt her life in order to like lay out the red carpet for you. Yeah. So if your girl has to go to work or figure out her life, then you should have done some research and you need to go check out Ho Chi Minh City because I'm pretty sure there's shit for you to do.
Yeah. And also, maybe now, if you want your girl to have like 100% free time for you, then you pay for her life.
Yeah.
You support her. So that's what happens. You can't have one without the other. Like you can't be like, why does she have to work if you're not paying for her whole life? I'm not saying you have to, but
Yeah.
that's, So,
Men who can do and men who can't don't. Okay.
oh, God bless it. So last Coops Badoops is Razvin and Amanda. And I just like, this is so funny. It's like a sketch, and the sketch is like a Debbie Downer character, which is Amanda, who does not like a one-thing. Like, so everything is negative, everything she hates, everything is like, no, I don't want it. Woo, that one. What's wrong with it? It's just like and it's funny to me. I love it kind of because she's such a snatchy bitch. And it actually is LOL because there, that whole book and that whole like somewhat archaic theory, which we can talk about because is it true that men love bitches, is perfectly illustrated in what's happening with them. Because and she'll say, but let's go to that point. So basically, she wakes up again. This man is trying to do his absolute best, like literally, she supposedly wakes up every morning with like two hungry kids like gnawing at her or whatever. You'd think she'd be so happy to like, like wake up with like a hot ass piece in her bed, or in being in his bed, even though she's lying to her kid about where they're actually sleeping. Ha ha ha. And he is making pancakes, and he's like, I'm the king of pancakes. For some reason, like that's also a TikTok thing for him, and she probably knows that. He likes to dance and like put Nutella on him, and she's like, how are you doing it? It's weird how you're doing it. Now I'm gonna tell you, it is weird how he's doing it. Yes, it's weird. He's like kind of splishing around. Like we all know how pancakes, you kind of just pour it there, and the actual like it kind of just like happens like that. And his looks real thick. Now, having said that, are there specific Romanian Budapest pancakes that are fabulous that I don't know because I haven't had, accustomed my tongue to it? Maybe. And however, the fact that she has an opinion about it at all makes me want to go the opposite. So if she thinks that it looks bad, then I'm sure it tastes yummy.
Yes.
However, leading it later, she's like, I don't know if it's cooked on the inside. And I kind of feel like, well, I could see that because why? It's a little doughy, it's a little wet on the inside because it's such a thick batter. I said, but at the same time, people eat crazy shit all the time. Like I have a friend that like will go and eat like griddle cakes without any sort of like syrup. So like, like whatever it is. So basically now he's like, I can't even deal with you. I think you're so annoying. And by the way, like last night, you just passed out when you knew I was upset. Like you have no empathy or no desire to cater to me or make me feel good at all. Like this entire time has been me tiptoeing on eggshells around you and your kids and how you're feeling, and trying to cater to every one of your whims. But
well, I was tired.
I know.
So then they go food shopping, and then he's trying to get her things to eat and make sure his refrigerator is filled with things that she likes. And he picks up one thing. She's like, I don't eat dairy. Then he picks up another thing. I don't eat processed packaged food. And then he picks up another thing. I don't eat shellfish. And he's like, shellfish? And she's like, yes, lobster, shrimp, and I don't guess whatever else is crawdads, whatever else is shellfish. And she's like, I mean, I get it. Like, he didn't remember, but I told him like 3 times and I don't eat those things. And I thought to myself, the first time he picked up something and you're like, oh, hey, babe, I don't eat dairy. The second time he picks up something you don't eat, you just say, don't worry, babe. Let me just wander around and find what I'll eat. And she'll eat salsa.
From a jar. And she was like upset about that. I like, again, this person has 2 kids. So I'm only like, this person has gone through a supermarket before, and this supermarket looks pretty much exactly like other supermarkets. And by the way, everything's goddamn organic. He took her to the Budapest Airwan. Okay, like that's where she's at. Okay, so she should be happy as fuck, but she's not. She should be happy as a clam, something she won't eat. Ha 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 ha. Because of the shellfish.
Oh, that's a shellfish too. Okay.
Any like mussels, clams, honey, like
yeah, to me,
oysters, pearl makers.
Okay, great. Yeah. To me, like I think seafood, and then I don't understand the difference between like shellfish and not. But now I know because she said it. But also, she's kind of being a bitch and an asshole at the same time. And
well, what does she eat? All she said is she doesn't eat like no GMOs, but like literally
chicken nuggets and French fries.
That's what she eats?
No, I just guessed, but I
Okay,
mean,
because it's like, yeah, I wonder, like, is she doing one of those, like, there's a bunch of girls that
oh,
do
how many?
the
Bunch.
no non-GMO, not whatever, like all the things, like no dairy, no soy, no corn. It's just like basically, detox wellness, mild, I think, disordered eating, if you will. But like you do you when it's everything and everything all the time. It's kind of like, culture on steroids. So I don't know. I was wondering what her thing was. Like, okay, like, yeah, are you just gonna get some turkey slices? Like, there's got to be a butchery or like a bakery. You could just go and buy some bread and then just get like some condiments and make yourself some toast in the morning.
Condiments, but she would rather be upset and like blame him when she wants to break up, because the truth is she's uncomfortable there. She knows she shouldn't be there. She's going to be there too long, and now she's there, so it needs to be his fault.
I feel like she's regressed on this trip. There's something about her that I'm like, I feel like was like, oh my God, my husband died. I'm raising these kids. I'm finally going to be able to go and be a sexy baby. I'm going to go somewhere where someone will fuck me, but also I get to be the baby again, where someone will just take care of me and every one of my whims and cater. I'm so tired doing it myself, self.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah,
Anyway.
she wants somebody to take care of her, and she didn't do anything when their marriage. Like, he did everything, and now she has to do everything, and she's like frustrated about it. So then after that, they go and walk into a park that may or may not have bats because it's, Dracula or whatever, but they're birds. And he's like, listen, I'm doing a music video and I want you to be in it. And she goes, I'm not an actor, which I was like fucking offended that anyone would believe that someone who doesn't speak in a music video is acting. Now, it might be, but as somebody who was at some point trained in the art, you're going to tell me that walking around a music video kissing your actual boyfriend is fucking acting? Okay, bitch. So then she's like, no, I don't want to do it. He's like, all right, well, then I'm going to have to kiss some other bitch. And she's like, no. So then he gets on the phone with his producer and they have a conversation in Hungarian, which she doesn't speak, which like, okay, then girl, pick up a book and learn it. And he then tells her exactly what the conversation was, but she would rather be mad. And I'm like, there are people like me out there in the world who cannot get a boyfriend to save our lives. Like we can't like, even if we were to slide into Rosvin's DMs, we would not be at the end of the finish line. And you get to be there and all you can fucking do is complain. And you speak.
Oh, well, I really am done talking about this episode, I guess.
Oh, great. You have nothing to say about the birds or that conversation? Cool. All right.
Just that she hates everything. I mean,
Yeah.
like she hates, there's nothing that's going to happen that's like pleasant that he's excited to show her that she's not going to immediately hate. And for him to just be like, instead of being like, oh, you're such a bitch, she kind of turns it around and is like, oh, I'm a bitch, but I picked you, so you should be happy about that. And then it does feel like, yeah, like that thing I said before, like how men love bitches, like she hates birds, she hates everything.
So annoying. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is all we have to say about this episode. Thank God for Gino and Jasmine. Thank God for, David and Sheila, who made this episode bearable. So if you would like to join us and see the visuals of what you're listening to today, you can do so on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. It's $10 a month. You get exclusive content like Love in Paradise, as well as you get the episode 24 hours before anybody else does. And then you get like interesting things that happen to us when we're trying to film the episode the first time and we can't get it out. So we film it again. So thank you so much for being here. And if you would like to follow us on our social medias, because you can't do the $10, Chris will explain that to you.
Well, you have to go to Instagram, open it up, and then type in the at sign, put DocuSweeties in, and then do the same thing at TikTok, where you might find your love of your life, says this season of 90 Day Fiancé. And then where everyone is dying, go to Twitter and then add a 1. So at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties on Instagram. Please give us 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcast. And we love you guys so much.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.